You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks Media apps. Great to have you with us. We're live in Washington, D.C. We're going to be going to West Virginia in Morgantown, where WVU baseball coach Steve Sabins is going to be joining us momentarily. And might get a little tied up, but he should be here in a second or two. So kind of waiting for him to come on. Meantime, let's bring in Godzilla Wins radio host and TV host for us Saturday, 9/11, Mitch Rogers. Mitch, great to have you with us on the regular John Fredericks Media Network here.
It's an honor. It's an honor to be on this network. I'm normally just regulated to the Saturday sports side. And
oh, you're not regulated. You're just there because you are the host of the award-winning Godzilla Wins show. And by the way, had another 3 hockey winners last night. I'm on fire. It's unbelievable. My hockey picks are so good. I tweeted them out yesterday, but we're going to get the Godzilla Wins site back up and put them on there. But look, you're a host on Godzilla Wins, 9 to 11 a.m. You do a super job, and the most fun, best thing we do is that Godzilla Wins show. You do a super job.
Well, and if people haven't seen you on Saturday, it's cool to see a different side of you, right? You don't have to host; you get to come in and be relaxed, and like I said, it's a pleasure. I love being able to do that every Saturday. And we got the Super Bowl this week. I mean, it's going to be Super Bowl hockey. And then college baseball next week. It's a very exciting time for sports.
I mean, can you believe that college baseball is starting in, what's today, the 5th? It's starting in a week, right? I think BYU opens. They open on, they're the earliest game because of the Mormons can't play on Sunday. But University of Maryland, where I'm going to be with them, obviously that's where Joe pitches. They open at University of North Carolina, Wilmington on Friday. I'm going there straight from Iowa, from wherever we are, Des Moines. So that's going to be fun. WVU opens, and I think Georgia Southern. So can you believe it's a week away?
No, I mean, if you live on the East Coast or in Morgantown, or anywhere, it's been snow and icy, for the last 2 weeks. So to think that there's baseball being played next week, it doesn't quite resonate, but I am jealous of these kids. They get to go down south Georgia and get to get in the warm weather. So
it's going to be a lot of fun. As you said, WVU opens at Georgia Southern, which is a pretty good team, by the way. So they open there. They have a 4-game series. And then University of Maryland Terps, Fear the Turtle, baby. They open at UNC Wilmington, which is also a pretty good team. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be there. Coach Sabins joining us now, head baseball coach, West Virginia University. Well, we got a lot to talk about today, and this segment with Coach Sabins is brought to you by Rocky Simmons, baby, at Vision Homes. I love Rocky, big supporter of WVU baseball, big supporter of WVU athletics. But, Mitch, for over 30 years, Rocky and Vision Homes, they've built hundreds and hundreds of custom homes right in Morgantown, surrounding areas, in Fairmont. Now, this is the thing. They got an expertise. It's a family company like ours, right? Mitch, family company. You know how it is working for a family company. It's a little bit different, but everybody loves Ann. You guys tolerate me. I get it. But they design and build a brand new custom home that fits your needs, your style, your budget. Best of all, they lock the price in before they start. So whatever it is, and you stay on budget guaranteed. That's what they do. Now, if you don't have any land, don't worry about it. Rocky and Vision Homes can help you do that too. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, you're looking to upgrade and build your dream home, like Coach Steve Sabins did, or you're looking to downsize and simplify your living space like Ann and I did here in Washington, D.C., ask Vision Homes. Now, invest just 1 hour with them, and they'll walk you through their easy step-by-step home building process. They'll answer any questions you have. And if you don't like what's going on, then you get to go to Mama Simmons, Rocky's mother, who basically runs the place, and she'll get everybody in line. Just one call to Mama Simmons, that's it. Get everything you want. She rules. Just like Ann runs our company, same thing. Now, go to askvisionhomes.com, askvisionhomes.com. See how simple it is to build a house you'll be proud of. Askvisionhomes.com. Go there today. Rocky Simmons will help you out sponsoring this segment. So thank you, Rocky.
That was worth every cent of that sponsor right there. Come on.
That is.
Rocky rocks, baby. So, I know he's such a. They do such a good job, and of course, when you go in there and I mean, anything you need, anything that doesn't go right, you just call up Mama Simmons. Game, set, match. It's over. She's in there making all the decisions, baby. So let's go. Now, Coach Sabins with us. Mitch Rogers is with us, host of Godzilla Wins. So let's get right to it, Coach. First of all, you guys got snubbed, right? I think you're going to Omaha. You knocked on the door 2 times. First you knocked on it, then you banged on it. This year you're going to kick it in. But, we go to the rankings. You guys are nowhere to be found. You guys got snubbed. What's up with that?
I'm not in the business of the ranking stuff. I think we ended up being 21st from Baseball America, and then maybe 26th or 27th in a few other the polls. Our fans say we got hosed, and then I listened to a podcast the other day that said we're way overrated, and there's no way that we can live up to the top 26 or 27 expectations. And so we'll find out. That my job's always like kind of the proof's in the pudding, right? Like you go play the games, and so maybe somebody's right, maybe nobody's right, but we got to go play the games.
So you guys open in a week. You got a lot of new kids in, a lot of transfer portal kids in, a lot of D2 people. That's kind of your signature D2 seniors. I get it. You open up against Georgia Southern, but you're playing in the snow. What's the deal there?
Yeah, it's every day here. It feels like it's been a tough winter. It's snowing currently. We were outside playing yesterday. We cleared the snow. We got an incredible student manager crew and facility crew. And so we got plows and tractors and everything else going. Right now there's snow banks around the outfield. We're playing in it. We're actually making a trip down to Columbia, South Carolina. We're going to leave on Friday and we're going to head down to Columbia, South Carolina because it's supposed to be 58 and sunny, which is tropical weather. And so we're going to go play a 2-game set this weekend, basically to prepare for the season, because there's so many things that come up, base running and pickoffs and catchers throwing. You just can't do all that indoors. And so you can't really compete. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're stuck in a batting cage for 3 weeks and then you go play a team that's been outside every day, just ability to turn double plays and communicate, and hell, a fly ball, like what's a fly ball look like, And so being able to do those things this weekend will be huge for us. Huge tip of the cap to administration is saying, yeah, let's do it. Go jump on a bus, go take the boys, to Cracker Barrel on the way down, get a hotel room and play a couple ball games.
Good planning. I'm going to bring in Mitch Rogers. Mitch, you had 2 straight seasons where WVU baseball has gotten to the Super Regional. So they're banging on the door. They got to kick it in, go to Omaha. And so it's going to be exciting. For the first time ever, baseball season tickets sold out. Never happened before. They're sold out. Can only get general admission. Mitch, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, what's it like after, like John just mentioned, you're coming off a 44-win season, regular season title, but you get snubbed in those polls a little bit, so the kids get to have a little chip on the on their shoulder. That doesn't seem like you'd be in that, be able to use that as momentum, but so it may be a blessing to not be.
Yeah, I think the players have an idea. The reality is that we lost our entire starting weekend rotation, and then we lost our 1 through 5 hole hitters. So it's a new squad. There's no doubt about it. So if you're a writer and you're looking at our team and you're going over the roster, you might be saying, I don't know who the hell these guys are. And then if you go recruit out of the portal and you bring in some smaller school guys or some Division II guys, the reason we've probably been successful is because we feel like we've been able to find great players that maybe not other schools are able to find. That's the bottom line. And so to their credit, there's probably not a lot of data, not a lot of information. Hell, one of our weekend starters coming up here, his name's Dawson Montesa, and he's a super talented kid. He's 93 to 96. He throws strikes. He's competitive. He's got the right mindset. And he was unrecruited until about the middle of the summer because he was playing at Adelphi and they don't have video there. So like when players are great at schools that don't have video, they don't have TrackMan, they don't have data, it becomes pretty difficult. So I don't envy the writers who have to figure out the top 25 and who we have on our roster. I do know that there's some players that certainly could play anywhere in the country that are going to compete for us. And so it excites me a little bit, but I think some of the guys naturally on the team are like, hey, I think we should be included in some of these conversations, right? And our job's to prove them wrong if that's what they want to do. I try not to get too caught up in that stuff. But that, like John said, he's seen it firsthand. Like that's kind of been our bread and butter. Not that we say we're going to go just recruit Division II, but every place, every institution has what they can do, what they have to do to be good. And so that's kind of something that we think that we do better than most.
Well, you talked about losing, a lot of the core in the pitching and in the batting rotation. You had 7 players move on to pro ball. How proud are you of that? And also how does that make recruiting that much not easier but better if you're sending people to pro ball? I imagine it's probably easy to use the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's 14 in the last 2 years, and so it's an incredible number, especially from where the program was out at. When I first got here, like that was unheard of. 14 guys in 2 years, right? So like every big league team, every minor league organization has Mountaineers kind of scattered all over it over the last 5 or 6 years. It's cool. It means that we're doing what we say in recruiting, which is essentially we're going to push you to be your absolute best version. It's super competitive. You got to come in here and compete. And if you can find your way on the field competing for the Mountaineers on a regular basis, you got a good chance of playing professional baseball. And that's no different than a lot of the major universities, but winning matters. Like, let's just be real. The teams that are playing late in Omaha and late in the regionals and late in the supers, they have a better chance of getting those players drafted because the scouts don't have to evaluate or guess as much. They're going like, this guy's hitting against the best. This guy's pitching against the best. These guys are going to be in the pro organization. So we could see this player fitting in there. I think from a recruiting standpoint, that D2 thing's been crazy. Like there's nowhere in the country where their last 2 Friday night starters have been Division II transfers. And then we've had our 2 best years in program history. And so if we go heads up with a D2 superstar, and we're not the only guys in on a Division II starter, right? There's other people recruiting them. They're good players. They're great players. But it's an easy story to tell when you sit down with someone and say, is there anywhere else in the country that the Friday night guy's been a Division II player the last 2 years? And they say, well, no. Well, coach says I'm going to start and says I'm a great player. Have they ever had a Division II starter in their program? And the answer is basically no. And so if you're a Division II player and you get an offer from West Virginia, if you just look at the data, you go like, I think I got a shot there, right? Because they're not afraid. They'll go do that. And so that's kind of fed into it for sure and helped us build what we have this year, which is hopefully a good spot.
What's going to be the measure for a successful season? You have a lot of new players here, but back-to-back super regionals. Would hosting a super regional going further? What's the measure of success for the season and the program overall this year?
We've always said it's about doing things that have never been done in program history, and that was a hell of a lot easier 10 years ago. And so those margins are getting thinner, right? But it was to win a Big 12 title at one point. We've done that 2 out of the last 3 years. It was to make a regional in 2017. They hadn't been to a regional in 21 years. So at one point, it was simply the postseason. When I first got here, it was like, hey, let's play our asses off to get to the conference tournament. And so we did some things that had never been done in program history with wins last season, with back-to-back super regionals. That hadn't ever been done in program history. We've been to back-to-back-to-back regionals, which was the first time in 61 years that had happened. So I think you're looking for that consistency to say that this is the year that you do this or that. I don't usually play that game because if year in and year out, this team is in the postseason, then you got a chance to win the whole thing. You don't get to keep playing if you don't make the postseason. So I've always kind of set that as the standard to work off of that. Like you get to the field of 64, and then it's about the players and the staff competing their asses off to try to win a national title. And so that's what our goal is every year. I think this team is talented. I think we have the right group of guys. I think we have the right staff, the right momentum, energy, all of those things to be as good as we've ever been. But I don't want to put any specific goals because like I even look back last year, we kind of did this thing with the team looking at what really happened last year, because I'm always fearful with our guys. Like you get a lot of smoke blown up your ass when you play good or you're perceived to play good. And of those 44 wins, there's like 18 that are 1-run ball games. There's another 12 that are 2-run ball games. There's like all the margins are tiny. So it basically comes down to like, did the guy throw strikes in the 8th? Did he not? Did the guy get a dirt ball read? Did he not? Did someone come up with a big 2-out clutch hit? Did he not? Did a player develop in the middle of the season that then impacted the season late? All those little things, right? And so the margins are tiny, especially when you're talking about the top 16 teams in the country. So it's like, man, maybe we needed to do a better job developing one additional starter that could have helped us in that 16. And so it's not necessarily about those specific numbers. It's about getting to the postseason and then playing your best baseball at the end. And I think if we can consistently be there, we got a chance to keep learning as a staff too, and me as a head coach, right? First year head coach last year, I got plenty to learn and to grow and to figure out to try to put our team in a better position.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. We're chatting with WVU, West Virginia University Mountaineers head baseball coach Steve Sabins, where his team is entering 2026 having gone to 2 super regionals in a row, but they got snubbed in the polls, so they got a chip on their shoulder. Also with us, Mitch Rogers, senior writer and columnist at WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com. This segment is sponsored by WVSportsNation.com. Anything in sports in West Virginia, you want to go to WVSportsNation.com. Mitch, a columnist there. You can go to Mitch, please, and also Mitch, the host of Godzilla Wins on our network, Saturdays, 9 to 11 a.m. Coach, a lot of the kids that you recruit from D1, I'm sorry, are D2 seniors. So when you had a pretty good high school recruiting class this season, but what do you tell the freshmen now coming in when they work their way up, but they know that come next season, when they think, well, maybe as a sophomore I'll get more of an opportunity, you go back in the portal and get another 6 upperclassmen that you have to play because you're, promising playing them NIL. How does that impact your high school recruiting and keeping some of your good players, like some of them went on this season in another portal because they didn't see the opportunity? How do you manage that?
Yeah, the whole system's really changing, especially now with this 34-man roster piece. So you see this like massive shuffle, but it's slowly happening. So these recruiting classes of high school kids, if you remember, like you could pull up Perfect Game and you'd look at some of these SEC schools and they'd have 23 high school kids committed in a class. They'd have 27 kids committed. And 27 certainly wouldn't show up to campus because there would be cuts before a guy even showed up to campus. And then from that point, the draft moves from 20 rounds to 10 rounds. So now less people are being drafted. So more kids are actually showing up to school or wanting to show up to school. Then on top of that, they're talking about the draft going to 5 rounds. And then there's new discussions with MLB baseball about not having high school drafts at all, because they want the colleges at the high levels to develop these players because it's essentially free development. So there's big pressure on Major League Baseball to provide decent wages to minor league players. And by decent, I mean like a house and food, because before they're sleeping on air mattresses and living below the poverty line for real. And so the owners are basically saying like, yeah, we'll put you up in a nice condo and give you 3 squares a day, but we're going to draft half of you and we're going to let West Virginia and Maryland and anybody else develop the players so they're actually closer to the big leagues when they get into professional baseball. So instead of holding on to guys for 7 years and hoping somebody pans out, it's like you got 2 years in pro ball or you're out of there, essentially, right? And so the reality is that those high school numbers are going to significantly drop. It's almost like we're all some form of a junior college where the junior colleges are getting all the D1 guys that now aren't showing up to D1s. We're holding on to guys on average significantly less. So maybe it's a 2-year span at our school. And then I saw a stat the other day that the average age of a Division I player, not Power 4, a Division I player is 21.9 years old. That's the average age, right? And so these 18-year-olds that are showing up, you essentially have to be ready to assume a role. So, like, to your question, John, if you don't have a role at all, it's very difficult to continue to crack the lineup long term. If you're a pin like Armani Guzman, he's a projected, they're talking about a first round or whatever, a high end draft pick, right? His first year, he's basically a pinch runner.
Right.
And last year, he was like a spot start and defense guy. That guy's a projected first top 5 rounder, a guy who was a pinch runner 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the margins, again, are small. And so you do need to be ready, and you have to do something better than somebody else. And that somebody else is on average 21.9 years old.
So it's tough.
So it's just tough. And so like it was real. I was looking today. We have this all Big 12, all conference wall, and in 2018, all the way through 2025, there's basically no one that's been all conference more than 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, you'd have like a freshman that was like had a great year, and he was a freshman all conference, and then he was a second team all conference, and then he was all conference. So like early in the history of WVU, you have all these guys that have 3 years of all conference, 2 years of all conference.
Right.
And for the last 8 years, there's not a single player. The only dude was JJ Weatherholt, who had multiple all conference. Because the reality is that they're either not here for 4 years. If they are, they're drafted after 3, and getting in the lineup as a freshman is so damn hard. So you're about to see this big transition of like, not like that, but it's just been happening where all of a sudden you look and you're like, there's more 22-year-olds in this recruiting class than there are 18-year-olds. That's where this is going. And the hardest part is like these young guys, the guy that is a superstar that's 19 years old, that you have to be like, hey, it's okay to be the pinch runner freshman year. Like, that's okay, because normally they're that good. They're going to say, I got to get out of here. I got to go play. I got to go get somewhere. It's like, no, dude, you're the best of the best, and you're the pinch runner this year. That's another side of this.
Mitch?
Coach, how refreshing is it that you're actually in a game week? You've been doing all these interviews, been talking about super regionals and top 25 polls and nils and transfers, but now you get to focus in on one game and lock in. How refreshing is that? And what do you think the biggest strength is early in the season heading into this weekend?
Yeah, it is. It's incredible. This was the first year there was a new rule where you were allowed to do team practice the first day of classes. And so it always had been like this 2-week window where you couldn't do team practice. You were only allowed 4 hours per week with athletes. And they changed that rule because the ramp up time required for pitchers is longer than the NCAA even provided. So the opportunity for people to be hurt, and then the pressure on coaches to pitch good pitchers longer in games early in the season is there. So we've actually been like going at it longer. So it does feel like this has been a long time. I still get anxious because the long time oftentimes is 7:30 p.m. in an indoor football practice area. So yeah, I'm excited. But also I'm one of those guys that's like never prepared enough. Like I never think we're prepared enough. So you're always like, we got to get in this. We haven't hit this. This dude hasn't pitched outside. I don't know if we can run the read play correctly, right? So it's always something. So eventually you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and actually compete. But I'm fired up about it. It's good. It's like you said, there's a lot of focus that gets diverted into a lot of different areas. We had this biomechanics and performance center come online, which was great. And then we had this partnership with the School of Sports Science, and we have this company called BioPrecision that's offering some services out of that building, and a lot of different things that can kind of pull you away a little bit. So when it starts getting closer, it's like the only thing on the schedule, it has to be you're watching Georgia Southern pitchers. You are evaluating your team, and that's what you really like to do as a coach. That's the most rewarding thing, is preparing for games and seeing your kids have success and elevate themselves. So I'm excited about it.
Coach Sabins, as is our annual tradition, I'm going to take a couple of minutes here to make my predictions for players on your team in 2026. You ready?
I'm ready to roll.
Let's start with, because last year I nailed 3 out of 4 of them. So including Chase Meyer, who I said would lead your team in wins, and he was not even a starter. And you're like, no, that's not going to happen. And of course did that. And my leading hitter, Brody Kessler, was there until the final week of the season. He got hurt. So I'm going to go for it here. Okay. Leading batting average, and write these down because I'm always right. Leading batting average, leading your team in batting average, Gavin Kelly. No doubt about it. I've never seen a kid hit with 2 strikes the way this guy does. 2 strikes is like it's 3-0. I mean, it doesn't matter. So he's going to be your leading hitter. Most wins, again, I'm doubling down. I'm going with Chase Meyer. I think he's going to dominate the Big 12. He's going to be, I think, your Friday night starter. He's going to go the most wins. ERA, I got an outlier here.
Yep.
ERA and save leader, senior Carson Estridge. 2 years ago, he was your closer. Guy was lights out. Started last season unhittable. Arm got a little tender. Had some tough outings. ERA went up. I think this season he's going to lead your team in ERA. He's going to throw, and I think he's going to lead your team in saves, home runs. I like this young fella you got from what was it, Colorado Mesa, Paul Schoenfield.
Yep.
Hit 420 in 56 games. That's pretty good. So I think he's got a little pop in his bat. So I'm guessing him, and I think your shock player. Here's your shock player. Ben Humston is going to be your shocker this season. I think he's going to get a lot of game-winning hits. He had a really bad season up until the end last season when you started him in the regionals. He's a senior now. He's got pop, and I don't know if he's playing for space outfield, but I think he's going to be your shock player. So those are my picks. What do you think?
I like those. I think that's your best round of picks there. I think all legit opportunities for all of those. Schoenfeld is going to be in the lineup because he's an animal. He's a smaller statured guy, but he has shown some pop. So it wouldn't be the favorite betting odds on the homers, but everything else is pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, so we'll see how that goes. You also have a new catcher that I believe has a little power. Also, tell us a little about him.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's going to be back there a ton. He's given us a lot of flexibility because Gavin actually catches and is a great catcher. Ended up playing second base last year, but Matthew Graveline is his name. He's an Ohio State transfer that has a lot of pop and was our leading hitter this fall and showed a bunch of power. So he's another one. I'll throw that in there with you, Schoenfeld and Graveline. You call it for the homer best homers.
And of course, you can't cut out Armani Guzman. Actually, it's interesting because we remember him when he was a freshman. Your predecessor, Maisie, just put him in a pinch run. I think maybe this season he had like 5 or 6 at bats, and he always laid it down. And now he's projected to go in the first round, in the top 5 rounds. Unbelievable. I mean, that's just incredible.
Unbelievable. Is he your pick for stolen base leader?
Yeah, without a doubt, stolen bases. I mean, the guy's the fastest guy in D1 baseball. So stolen base leader, Armani Guzman. The other thing, he hits. He gets on base. He can bunt. He can walk. He's got a good eye. He's patient at the plate. So he gets on. He gets a walk. It's a double. So I think he's going to lead your team in stolen bases.
I'm going to need your predictions and rundown on Maryland before we play them. Really hear about the Terps. What's going on over there?
That's going to be that's going to be the shock team of the Big Ten. I mean, I've seen their games. They hit. They're never out of a game. Last season, get this, in the Big Ten, they blew more leads after the 6th inning, 2x than any team in the Big Ten. So they can hit. Their problem was they didn't have a pen, and they had some arm injuries and things of that nature. They went in the portal. They bolstered their pen. They have decent starters, and I think they get in the Big Ten tournament. And look, if they continue to hit this way, and they have a few arms I know that are stoppers. It's gonna make a difference. I think they're gonna get in the tournament. Obviously, UCLA, number one team in the nation, not probably gonna have a hard time beating them. But look, if they get deep in the tournament, I think they can make the regionals. I think they're much better than meets the eye.
That league is pretty interesting, right? Because they added some of those like powerhouse West Coast teams, and Big Ten's they're trying to figure out, are they going to be serious about every sport for real? Like, it is really interesting now because it's coast to coast. You have the number one team in preseason, number one team in the nation in it, but then there's some institutions that aren't as serious about baseball and the funding side of it. And I think it's really interesting to see where it goes. We were talking about it's a good time for the push to the start of the season to be in March versus when it is, right? Because it's in the middle of basketball season, it's snowing outside, and now the Big Ten, who's arguably the largest revenue generator in all of college sports, them in the SEC. But if the Big Ten wanted to make a push for it, they could actually change that rule potentially. And then non-conference series, like why isn't West Virginia opening up with Maryland for a 3-game set? Why don't we open up at home against Penn State and sell this place out day in and day out? We should have a 3-game set against Pitt, a 3-game set against Penn State, a 3-game set against Maryland or Virginia. And now you're talking about revenue that's completely different if we were able to push the season back maybe till March.
Well, look, I think that makes sense. I mean, if you take Maryland, they open the conference with Purdue at home. Purdue, and then they go immediately. The next series is with the University College of LA, UCLA. They got to fly out to LA, I guess Wednesday. Of course, we're going to go to that. Never been to their stadium, but the Big Ten is. I mean, it's coast to coast. It's a little bit different, so we'll see what happens. But I'm a big believer in Coach Swope there. I think Matt's going to do a super job, and I think they're going to be for real. So we'll see what happens. And of course, both our teams play the last non-conference game, which is going to be March 10th at West Virginia. Maryland comes in there. We're actually doing that game not for West Virginia University, but for the visiting team, the Maryland Terps. I'm going to be there doing a game. Mitch is there. We have to have you up to the pregame show, Coach.
Do we get to claim Mitch for that one, though?
Yes. There's no question. You don't understand. Now that he has Maryland shirts on the Saturday show, it really bothers all of us. All of us.
Understood.
I even got the Maryland Stadium in my backdrop.
I mean, I went there when Maryland was a rival. I mean, a legit rival.
Yeah.
It's very tough to see. John, you can't broker this Big 10, Big 12 thing?
I'm trying to get the U.S. Senate to get the Republicans to get rid of the filibuster. That's what I'm focused on, not the Big Ten baseball season.
Bigger things.
Sorry, though. Sorry. But hey, guys, I know, Coach, you got to bounce. Mitch, anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say, Coach Sabins, what's it like when you see how this town embraces their coaches? You had the fish fry this week with Bob Huggins. It's just an amazing community, and especially if you're a winning coach here, how excited are you to be part of the Morgantown community?
It's incredible, and this is my 11th year now, and my kids were born here, and you just get to see the passion and the excitement and really the support. Like, I think this place is really different because when administration, the community, fans, the supporters feel like people are working, and winning matters, but I really feel like it's more directed towards working and this consistent grind of trying to be the best at something. West Virginia desperately wants to showcase that they have the ability to be the best at something, whether that's winning the conference or winning the national title or being the best at the Neuroscience Institute or the School of Law or whatever, right? Like, I feel like people really get behind people that are working. And the most fun part has been like the creativity by everybody. Like, hey, we get it. We don't have have maybe Mark Cuban at Indiana, or we don't some of those things for the football team or whatever. But guys are kind of like, hey, we can do this. Let's be creative. And so I haven't run into a lot of no's is the reality, whether that's creating biomechanics and performance center or creative staff hirings or the way we need to recruit, or hey, you want to fly down to Florida to recruit, but you need to be back here and a guy has a private jet. Like there's people that are all in. And I think that part is I don't take for granted at all. There's a whole lot of people that want to work. And then guys like Rocky and everybody else, there's just so many people. Rocky, he's a funny story. I had a coach's show at the Mountain State Brewing Company. And he came to my show and he was so distraught because Kellogg was having a show next door. He was like, he wanted to make sure he didn't hurt my feelings. So he's at the coach's show. Saves up here, but Kellogg's going. I got to catch Kellogg. I'm like, it's all good, man. I'll be able to sleep. It's all good. But there's a lot of people that want to support me and support what we're doing, right? And so that part's incredible, and I'm very thankful for it.
All right, we got to end. We have one caller, Coach Vince Mayako in Bakersfield of one of the leading junior colleges in the West Coast. Just upset the number one team, is on the line. Coach Vince Mayako, you with Coach Steve Sabins. Go ahead.
John, Mitch, Coach Sabins, welcome to Bakersfield, California, sunny and 72 today. So
I hate you.
I know.
Hell yeah, good win. Who was the number one ranked
win the other day?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who was the team? Who was the number one team?
Antonio College. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
Well, currently the number one team is Cypress College, but Mount San Antonio, they're the defending state champions, and we beat them the other day at their field. So we're already 3 weeks into our season. But what I wanted to do, because I'm from a JUCO slant, is with reduced roster sizes, are you now recruiting more two-way players into West Virginia?
We haven't gone there yet, but it just makes logical sense because if you have 34 guys and a lot of these rosters are very accustomed to having 20 pitchers on them, all of a sudden you have 14 position players and you can't even run a fall scrimmage, right? Because you got to have at least 8 on 8. And so being able to have some guys that could come in and throw an inning and also play a position becomes more valuable. That's a classic Randy Mazey. Our former head coach was a two-way dude that would recruit some more of those guys like Braden Zarniski for us and some other players. But I think it is going to be important. Probably the most important thing, the biggest swing that you'll see is just like more veteran players because there's less time for development. So it's one thing to have a two-way player, but it's another thing to have a guy that can't compete at the level quite yet. And so that's probably the biggest thing is that I think we'll recruit more junior college players moving forward because there's going to be superstars at the junior college level that decided that the development was better for them to go get 300 at-bats a season versus waiting at a Division I school, right? And so I think that's going to be just more JC players all across Division I rosters.
All right.
And the one thing too, I've seen this over the last year or two, Coach Sabins, is the quality of JUCO baseball has dramatically increased over the last year or two.
Yeah, that's got to be fun, and that's the same at every level. If you turn on Omaha games right now, you're like, I'm pretty sure I'm watching like some version of a AA/big league game. Mm-hmm. It is fast. Guys are throwing 100 and hitting the ball 107 miles an hour and stealing bases. It's a fast-paced, fun game. The consequences that there's less players in it, there's less minor league teams. But when you have baseball, it's pretty damn good.
All right,
it
Coach
sure
Vince,
is.
We got to go. But Coach Vince, my only request is the top players that you have at Taft College in Bakersfield, the real secret top players, my only request is don't send them to Sabins in West Virginia.
Send them to
Maryland. Sabins got enough good players. Send them to Maryland. Send them to Coach Swope. That's my only request.
Well, I might send him to Coach Savage at UCLA.
They got enough good players too.
I still don't understand how they're in the Big Ten, but whatever.
Oh, forget that. All I know is we're going out there. It's going to be fun. We already got our tickets. Hotel. Coach Vince is going to be taking his team to the Maryland game, and then joining in and us for dinner on Saturday night in wherever that hotel is we're staying at down there in L.A. So we're looking forward to that. Coach Sabins, want to thank you for your time today, and good luck. Season opens 8 days from today. You're going to be in Georgia Southern. I'm going to be in North Carolina, Wilmington, in 1 week from today with the Maryland Terps. Mitch Rogers, I know you got to go take your daughters to school. Thanks for being with us. Follow Mitch, WVSportsNation.com, WVSportsNation.com, Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. And Coach Mayako, send your best players to Swope in Maryland. Thank you for being with us. We need the help.